field. U.S. Bank. Life keeps moving. We're here for every step. U.S. Bank. Member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zeppo's, the home for the Cougar Coaches Show, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Proud partner of Washington State Athletics. And by Redbox, the official at-home movie partner of the Pac-12. Visit redbox.com now for new movies and thousands more. Now, let's talk Washington State basketball.
Well, we welcome you in. It is the U.S. Bank Coaches Show, and it's an NCAA tournament special, and we are with the Washington State University women's basketball coach, Kamie Ethridge, and it is our pleasure to be with you here live from Zeppo's in Pullman, and we want to welcome everybody in. Yes, please make some noise. We are here, and again, getting set for what is a show that we put together somewhat last minute, but at the same time, our thanks to the folks here at Zeppo's, all the support staff, all of you that have made your way to come out here and coach. We wanted to do this because, again, second consecutive year that the Cougars have made it to the NCAA tournament. What an honor, and again, off and dancing once again here in 2022. Tell me what it feels like.
It feels great. Obviously, yesterday at the house, watching our players react to our name coming up and having some anxious moments, not positive. I mean, didn't get great vibes with everybody on our seat or even the potential that we might not be in it. And I think that caused some concern along the way. But the excitement of our team, and I was saying it on my interview today, these guys work so hard all year long, and we've really changed that culture of getting kids in the gym, 365 days a year almost, and they put so many hours and time in, and to watch them and their expressions when their name gets called, it is kind of the reason you do it, and you enjoy it, and you just hope that they this is like living large for them. And so we're super excited. I think the matchup is great, and we'll get to talk about that, but we're excited to be a part of this, and we're gonna make sure we enjoy every minute of it.
Absolutely. So glad to have you with us, as we'll be with you for a full hour. We'll talk not only to the head coach here, Kamie Ethridge. We're going to talk to both Charlize Ledger-Walker as well as Crystal Ledger-Walker, and we'll talk matchups. We'll talk everything that involves Cougar basketball. And you mentioned some anxious moments, and I think it's always interesting because the Pac-12 tournament wraps up so early compared to when the tournament field is unveiled. And I think even if you're the tournament champions, you're nervous about, okay, well, what seed are we going to be? Who are we going to be facing off? When are we going to play? So you've got that long wait. And so take us kind of through that week where you were just kind of on pins and needles waiting to find out what this committee has to say about your team.
Well, I thought the week has been great for us. I mean, I would hate to be on the other end, like so many of the men's teams and a couple of, the Big 12 women's basketball just finished yesterday. So I love the week of rest, even though when we took Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then we had great practices Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then took Friday off. So I really felt like it was a recharge for us. Conditioner, and they may not like that. They may not have liked that, but just felt like we had to kind of really go after it hard. But it was all work on us. We didn't have anyone in mind. We didn't have to scout. It was just things that we really thought if we could improve a couple of areas of who we are, we think that makes us even more effective team and someone that could really create some problems in this tournament. So it's been a great week. We dove into that thinking that we were going to be in this tournament. So yes, anxious of where we're going to be, but honestly, we really felt good about being in the tournament, and now it's just all about, let's go do this. Let's be excited about it. Let's play our best basketball when we show up on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about it over the last few weeks of the season about what we were able to do inside this conference and about the quality wins that we had put up and about the resume that we had built. And obviously the one thing that was kind of hanging over us was the net ranking, and I still don't understand it and don't think I'll ever understand it, because a team that finishes second in the Pac-12 conference and goes on the road and beats Colorado, and we take care of Arizona once at home and split with them. We beat Arizona State in the only ranking, and how Arizona State's still ahead of us in the net ranking still boggles my mind. Yet that being said, the committee looks like they did take the body of work and knew what we did. Now, I would have preferred a little better seed, but at the same time, we get into the tournament, that's what's important. We're one of the 68 teams in. But I guess just as we go forward and as you build this program, is that something that again is clear to you as a coaching staff and to university, and is it something that needs to be made more clear as to what you need to do to become tournament teams in this field?
Clear as mud. I've always scheduled with the thought in mind, play the best teams. Losing to really good teams won't hurt you. And we really don't have a bad loss. I mean, Stony Brook is marginal, but their situation is so weird because they weren't allowed to compete. They lost 2 games this year. They're really a good team. So that's take that one out. But we had bad losses in that we lost by big numbers against, Stanford the first time and obviously Oregon the time that we played them. But I've got to sit down. The coaches, I think, need to sit down and really understand. Our strength of schedule in the non-conference was in the 30s, at least 40 or less. And I looked at Arizona State, for example, and theirs was 200 and something. Yeah. So they didn't play anybody. So I don't know if it's better to not play good teams and beat them by a high margin. Again, it's opposite of what we've been taught. Play good teams. Don't worry about wins and losses. Just play good teams and then get some wins. You obviously, but we got wins, but I'm just not positive that the analytics are fitting how we play. We've got to figure that out because we want to put our players in the best position to be the best seed that we can possibly be. And yes, that's winning games, and I felt like we did that this year. We did that in the conference. And again, eight seed's an awesome seed. It's telling you that you're a really good team, but you're also looking at a couple of other teams in your conference that finish below you in the conference, and they're higher than us. So there's some concern, but again, we can work on that on the off season, and let's go try to beat a team and a team that we match up well with.
Absolutely. Again, we're with head coach Kamie Ethridge coming to you from Zeppos. Again, the NCAA Tournament Special, the U.S. Bank Coaches Show. And yes, indeed, we got a bracket. And for a second consecutive season, Washington State University is going dancing. And I want to talk about this, Coach. Again, we're the 8th seed. We'll take on Kansas State. We're going to get into that matchup maybe a little bit later on in the Coaches Show. But you've been able to cross off so many things that have never been crossed off before at this university over the last couple of seasons. Whether it's the 19 wins this season, most in the NCAA tournament era, whether it's tied for second in the Pac-12 conference, whether it's wins over top 10 teams. Just talk about this group of individuals that you brought together. And you talked about a little bit earlier, the 365 days a year mindset of going to work to get the program to this level and beyond of where you want it to go, and just how proud of you are of this group to be where you're at sitting here tonight.
Well, again, I think last year we thought we were just going to do the year of firsts, and we had a bunch of them last year, and then we just continued it this year. We had never beaten, Arizona State twice in a year. We had never beaten USC twice in the year. I mean, Chris was telling us after every road trip, we haven't done this, or we haven't beaten USC on the road since I don't know when. So, again, I think it's just a statement of a team that's still growing and hitting milestones. And it has everything to do with, I think we're a better team than we were a year ago. I think we have potential even to be better, next week than we are right now. I mean, that's the hope. And we're playing our best basketball at the time that we want to be playing our best basketball. But so proud of the leadership of this team, of the senior class, of the maturity of our players from last year to this year, the willingness to take on a lot of responsibility, and to be as big as the moment. And I think that's going to be the message, on Saturday. Like, don't let this moment be too big, because you're made for it. You've built yourself for it, and this should be the time of your life. So, don't let anything get in the way of what you can accomplish on the court when you get to do the thing that you love to do and you've trained to do and you've been at for so long.
I think for a lot of people here, for a lot of people that are watching us, they saw your team's reaction on social media. Kind of take us through that day. I'm sure you had practice. I'm sure you had some other things that were going on, but just what a special day it was, just from going from where it was to Selection Sunday, and just kind of take us through that day.
Well, they would tell you that we just bog them down every single minute of every day, even if it's spring break. And we did. We actually had a recruit on campus, so it took some time away from probably us. But recruiting is always an urgency, and we've got to find ways to continue to try to grow our program. So, we had team activities on what night would that be? Saturday night. We had a team activity on Saturday night, and I guess, and then Sunday night that night. So again, for them, team activities are awesome because they get free food, and they get to hang out and be silly and have a blast together, which is what they do naturally, and it's awesome to be around and be a part of. I love this team for that. Like, get them together, and they're just so much fun, and they love being around each other, and just good-natured, good people, having a blast and having the time of their lives. But Sunday was just busy. We obviously got them up and practiced, and then we had to get together, and again, just that culmination of so much work, so much effort, and they're all sitting there, and it came early, at least this year.
Yeah.
We didn't have to wait too long, and I don't think I was even looking at the TV when it came up. I just reacted to everybody else. But again, just a celebration. You just it's a sigh of relief, but then it just becomes, we get to, this is big. This is really big. And the other thing on that is, this recruit. Sometimes recruits don't know how big it is. They really don't even understand it. And even that is a realization to me as a coach that, ESPN did a great job. We had a GoPro in our living room so everybody could see our kids' reaction. Our Chris Caskey and our sports information just do a great job of social media. This is big time, and we're a part of it, and it doesn't get any bigger than this, and our kids need to be celebrated and celebrate with it, and then go earn the next victory.
Just a couple more quick things on Selection Sunday. I'm sure you see the name, that you've got the brief moments of celebration, and if I think I know you and your staff well, not too long after you're thinking, all right, time to start scouting Kansas State. How big is this week for you to get ready to try and get everything you know? Obviously, and we'll get into it a little bit, the fact that you spent as many years as you did, I think it was 18 in Manhattan, and was part of the Kansas State program. But obviously, we haven't probably watched a lot of Kansas State basketball so far this season. This has got to be a hectic week for you and your coaching staff as far as getting the scout ready for this group.
No different than what we normally do. I mean, we actually have, about 3.5 days to scout K-State. And that's more than you do on the second game. You also have to prepare. Maybe you play North Carolina State on one day, or, I think that would be the logical people we might play if we are able to win. So it's what we do in a scout. We were able to watch a little bit of film on K-State today. I had watched K-State a little bit earlier. You always watch certain players, and they have a post player that's incredible at keeping the ball high. She doesn't make, I'm sure everybody in here notices Bella sometimes dribbles too much, and you're all yelling at her like, don't dribble. Why are you dribbling? This kid, that she doesn't dribble. She never gets herself into trouble, but she's 6'6", so she can catch it and keep it high. And we actually made a film on her a year ago because she had 61 points this year. Like, she is really just phenomenal at not doing doing what she does best, which is just keep the ball high and shoot over you. So, you do things like that during the year not knowing you're going to play someone like that. But so have some, obviously, familiarity with her and a little bit with their team, but we're not paying attention to them during the season. So now all attention is on them. We expect zone. We have to be better. We have to be prepared for zone offense. There's certain things that you just know you're going to see against a team like this, and we've just got to prepare well and make sure that we're, spot on in what we do and how we do it, and have a lot of confidence going into it.
And I guess the other thing to kind of piggyback on that is we talked about getting ready and building the resume is playing in the conference that we play in and going against all the different styles that we have to go against within this conference. It has to make you feel like you're ready to go to battle with anyone in the country on any given night to try and pick up a win.
I love this conference in ways that Tara Vanderveer called me, Kelly Graves called me, and Kelly had actually said, I did all this research, and the Pac-12 has a better win percentage than anybody. We're number one, and I don't know how many years he's done it on. And Big 12's not, I think they're number 3, and he was talking about the Big 10 being 4 or 5. And so it just tells you, and his whole point to me was, we're so prepared. We are so prepared for what we're going to see in the NCAA tournament. And it's not just him saying that. It's over the years, our teams have won against matchups that you have in first and second round tournaments. So, we got to believe that and trust it. And obviously, we've seen unbelievable size in this league. We've had to deal with that. So we do feel like we're unbelievably prepared to play whoever it might be.
Again, for the first time in program history, Washington State to the NCAA tournament for a second consecutive season. That's right, you can make some noise for that as they are heading back and in the field of 68. They will play Kansas State. It'll be Saturday morning, 8:30 our time, so wake up early. ESPN2 is going to have the television coverage. We'll, of course, have it for you on News Talk for the Palouse, AM 1150, locally on the radio if you want to tune in. We'll have it all for you. We've got a lot to get to this hour. We're going to talk again to Charlize Ledger-Walker, to also Crystal Ledger-Walker. We're going to talk to the coach about this year's team, a little bit more on Kansas State, and just a whole lot more. Just getting things started, though, but let's go ahead and take our first break if we can, Jared. And then when we come back, we'll have more. Again, it's the U.S. Bank Culture Show. We couldn't be more pleased to be here from Zeppo's, the NCAA Tournament Specials. The kids are back at it, and we'll be playing Saturday morning, and we'll be back here in Zeppo's in just a couple of minutes. Well, we do welcome you back again. U.S. Bank Coaches Show, NCAA Tournament Special, live from Zeppo's, as we are glad to have you with us. As again, the Cougars back in the NCAA Tournament, second consecutive season. And again, joining us, the head coach of Washington State University basketball, Kamie Ethridge. And Coach, fourth year here in Pullman, and now second year that you've gone to the NCAA Tournament in succession. When you accepted the job from Pat Jun, and I know that you were looking at this job, you were seeing some things of what you wanted to do, to see this follow along into what is now year number 3, year number 4, and I think for a lot of head coaches, their 4th year is kind of the crowning achievement, because that's when you start to use your coaches. Everybody that's in your program has been around you. As you've seen this program grow under the 4 years, just talk about how we've gone from where you accepted the job to where we're at here today.
Well, I'm not sure I did my research enough to know that, just the tradition for women's basketball, I really hadn't seen a program just not have any kind of success, consistent success. And, that's not a big deal. You can overcome that, but it just makes what kids do and what you accomplish really, really big time. And I love that about what we've been able to accomplish. And then today I read where Lynn Roberts has been at Utah, I want to say 8 years, and I think JR, or vice versa, and JR's been there 7. And both of those guys, this is their first time going to the NCAA. And it's like, it does take a while. And those guys have been pretty steady and solid, but they didn't make the tournament, and it just makes you go, to do this in 4 years. And I just keep giving credit to, I don't think we had the talent, even though we had, Nell and Bobby were exceptional talents, just didn't have the depth and the talent to win early, but we also didn't have the culture and the fight and the resiliency and the competitiveness and the competitive excellence and the locker room and the mindset and the toughness. I mean, we didn't have that built in. And even if Sheer Levy isn't a talent, she is rock solid in all those things. And even if Michaela Jones can't come on the court and score a million points, she is so consistent in those things. And then you add, so for 4 years, they've been learning culture, and they've been our voice in the locker room, even though they're not scoring points. And then you add, the dynamic of, Crystal, who's played for us and who has transformed herself into everything we're about. And then you add her sister, who is, pretty special for a freshman to be able to kind of have those things ingrained in her. And she comes in with all those culture pieces already in her, but talent out her wazoo, whatever that is, just talent galore. And so, then you add that spark of the talent, you add the depth of and the growth of Bella and Ula and what they can do on the court, and all of a sudden, but I always go back to those two. Those two are they're like the multiplication thing. You add them, and it's not plus and minus anymore. They multiply, what they are, they just make everybody else that much better too. And so, but the culture piece was so crucial, and the people that we already had in the program were so crucial to making them successful when they showed up. And so it's all of that combined that made it pretty magical last year, and it's been easy to build on and continue in an upward projection for this team, and I hope for the future.
And I guess what I think is special from my seat, and obviously I'm not as intricately involved as the coaching staff or some other members of the women's basketball support team, but at the same time, I see the talent. I also see the IQ when it comes to basketball, and just generally good people that are also good leaders too, and you do it all from all corners of the globe. I mean, such an international team with 10 international players on your roster, yet they all seem to kind of fit together. I mean, just talk about this collection that you've taken from literally all corners of the globe to come here to Pullman, Washington to fit together into your program.
Yeah, you need all of it. You need but you need the locker room, you need the work ethic, and that comes from, juniors and seniors in your program. Yeah. Like, we didn't have the work ethic when we walked in the door. So those guys they lead the program by their work ethic. They lead the program by their communication skills. They manage conflict the right way. They never say a wrong thing in the locker room. They never complain. when you have those kinds of players in your program, and those only come from juniors and seniors, and they lead from the inside, then you add talent on top of that, and it guides the talent in the right direction. And then you get someone special like Charlize, who's all those things walking in the door. So it's a combination. It's not hard when you have great leadership. It's not hard, again, I tell people all the time, we were behavior cops the first 2 years. We were trying to teach them what, competitive excellence looked like and trained like and communicated like, and this is what body language should be, and it was like, nope, that's not it, and don't do that, and it was just like we were just a little cop out there going, and now we don't really have to do that. It's just like I can say, it's not loud enough in here, and then the seniors go, they bark, and Crystal yells, and then all of a sudden the gym changes. It's player led, and that's crucial to growth in your program, and when you know you can grow faster. And I think that, again, the international style we love, high IQ, real good feel for the game, people that we want, stretch people that can shoot the ball. I love that. I love the way the game is offensive minded, and I think that's the way the game is going, even though you've obviously got to be good at other parts of the game.
Again, a few other things to talk about with this year's team as far as honors are concerned. First of all, rarely will I say the media gets it right more than the coaches do, but right now, your Pac-12 Coach of the Year, as voted on by the media, Kamie Ethridge. So you had that, you had Charlize, you had Bella, co-improved player of the year, Crystal getting some honors as well from the Pac-12 conference. That's just, again, not that you need validation, but a second trip to the NCAA tournament. Again, all these awards that come in for you and your players, just talk about how that does maybe put a little bit of a validation stamp on your program.
I want it for our players. If we're finishing second in the league, I promise you it's not the coaching side of it, it's the players. And we need representation in the all-conference division. I will sit here and say there's not a freshman in the league that plays better defense than Crystal, and yet a freshman made all defensive. So I have complaints about that as well. But it's just the nature of it, and it can't be why we do things. We just have to do it because we love it. We have to pursue winning, and we need players that are hungry to do whatever it takes to win. And if that's defense, or if that's, again, just the drive to win. I am so proud of Bella and her growth, and I do think she was every bit as, a most improved player, and the sky's still the limit for her. So that's exciting for her and us. Charlize obviously should be on everybody's, all-conference league. She is a dynamic player who still has a long way to go, and I think can continue to get better. But it is validation, and more than anything, it means you're finishing in the top half of the league. It means you're finishing in the top 4 of the league, and that gives us, I think, ultimately the best chance of perhaps helping us in recruiting. And that's as big as anything that we can do in getting those awards. Again, with us, Kamie Ethridge, it's your U.S. Bank Coaches Show, the NCAA Tournament Special. Just a couple of other quick things here, Coach, then we'll get the Ledger-Walker sisters up here over a couple of different segments. As you talked about it being about the players, last year, I think a credit to every program out there and every coaching staff out there that had to play through the pandemic and do what we had to do. I don't even know what it was like for you guys to play in the bubble, but to be able to go to Raleigh and to have a little bit more sense of normalcy as we're trying to climb ourselves out of this thing, just is it going to have a different feel, you think, this year for you as far as being an NCAA tournament team? I really think it will. I sat on a coach's call today, and they talked about all the things that you saw last year that were inadequate, and the women's gifts were less than the men's, and the accommodations were less than, and they're really trying. The NCAA has really stepped up and addressed all of those things. Again, it shouldn't be what we focus on, the gifts that you get, but it is something that obviously our women athletes should be rewarded for what they're doing here. I think the branding, the big timeness of it is going to be real. It's different than the men because we're at someone's home site. That's difficult to do in women's basketball. Clearly, if you make it to the next round, you're playing in front of, a home crowd of North Carolina State. That's fair, not fair, however you want to do it, but it's where we are in our growth of our program, and it's what we're doing. But I'm really excited for our players to not be in the bubble and to experience life in wherever. We're going to North Carolina, and we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to love it, and we're going to enjoy every minute of it.
Again, we've got Kamie Ethridge with us. Let's go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll talk to both the Ledger-Walker sisters, and then we'll have Kamie back on to help us wrap things up. Again, U.S. Bank Coaches Show, NCAA Tournament Special, and we'll take a break, and we'll be back to Zeppos in just a couple of minutes. It is once again the U.S. Bank Coaches Show, NCAA Tournament Special from Zeppo. So happy to have you with us, and with us now, fifth-year senior Crystal Ledger-Walker, as we talk about the Cougars heading off to the NCAA Tournament. And Crystal, first of all, congratulations. You heard me talk with the coach, Coach Kamie Ethridge. So many firsts in this program history, and I don't know how much you knew about the history of Washington State, probably not a ton, but just as you hear some of those things that get thrown out there, how is that as you a player, knowing that you're doing things that nobody else at the university has been able to do before?
Yeah, so cool, so proud of everything we've achieved, and kind of really excited that we can still have a lot more to achieve. Definitely didn't know kind of a lot about the history here until I got here and until I started playing here, and until we've started breaking some of these records. But yeah, just such a cool opportunity for us, such a cool chance for us to, break some more records, as I said, in these coming weeks. So yeah, very excited.
Off to a second consecutive NCAA tournament. I'm sure that's one of the reasons why you made it here. I'm sure Kamie Ethridge is another reason. We'll get into that in a little bit. But also playing with your sister at the NCAA Division I level. How special is that to be able to play with your sister at a Pac-12 conference school?
Yeah, so cool. To play on one of the biggest stages, one of the biggest basketball stages in the world is an unreal experience. And to do that alongside Charlize is just a cherry on top, I guess, for that. But loved it, loved being here, loved being a Coug with her, and yeah, excited for these weeks coming up. As
you play in the Pac-12 conference, is it everything that you thought it would be? Because, I've been broadcasting these games for over a decade and a half now, and just to know that each night out is a battle, and I think it's gotten more and more every year that we've gone further. What's it like to play in this conference on a night-in, night-out basis? And I would think that would help to get you ready for what lies ahead here.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time that the Pac-12 is, the best women's conference for basketball, and just how diverse, the style of play in the Pac-12 is. You go up against, some of the best defending teams in the country, and then also some of the best shooting teams. So, yeah, you do get a lot of experience and a lot of different kind of styles of play, and hopefully that will, bode well come the tournament and come when we see all these schools for the first time.
You are a player that I've loved watching. I wish I could have watched you for more years, but I'll take the 2 that I got. And just the chemistry that not only you have with your sister, but just the chemistry that is also developed over the last couple of years with all of your teammates. I mean, do you feel as that's something that's been a bigger difference between last year to where we are this year, the chemistry that you've gotten not only with Charlize, but with everybody else on this team? Yeah,
definitely. I think the chemistry that we have has been the reason why we've been able to win some really tight games and pull out some of those big wins and against some of those bigger schools. So, yeah, 100% our chemistry has improved and gotten better, and returning 5 starters definitely helped that, and having a lot of our core team come with us and adding some key additions that are, really high IQ players that can click on and kind of gel really well with our team has just been awesome. But yeah, I just think overall, credit to our coaches for letting us play kind of more of a freestyle and letting us have that freedom to develop those kind of chemistry and those relationships within the team, and making plays and things like that.
And you talk about your head coach. Rumor has it she was a pretty good player back in her day. Yeah, I would say so. Olympian, undefeated national champion,
right?
Hall
You name
it. We could keep on going, but we only got an hour here. So to play under her and learn from her and her staff, by the way, all of the players, and I mean, Lori was a fantastic player at Kansas State, to learn from them, but at the same time, knowing that they also allow you that freedom, that's got to be kind of the best of both worlds for a player.
Yeah, it really is the best of both worlds, being able to go out and play your style of play and kind of making some mistakes that I'm sure all of our Coug fans saw me do, and the coaches, you can see that they're clearly frustrated, but they do let us kind of work through our mistakes and, make those mistakes on our own, and they're right there to, give us feedback and look at this, and this, and right away you're kind of like, that's why you're such a great coach. That's why I love playing here. I love, being able to have that freedom, and also knowing that you're probably seeing it better than I am.
The last couple of things I got for you here. First of all, as we kind of work our way through this, you had a pretty special senior day. As you got a chance to close things out at Beasley Coliseum, we were taking on Arizona. You guys needed a win, and you got a big win. Just kind of take us through the emotions of your final game at Beasley Coliseum, and I would have to think it had to be a perfect ending for you.
Yeah, it really was a perfect ending, and I think kind of that fairy tale moment just for my experience here, and just seeing the program grow and seeing the new heights that this program and school can reach. That moment in that day was definitely special and something I'll hold dearly. Thank my teammates for pulling that win out. It definitely was a big one, and yeah, I'm so glad we got it at home in front of all our fans and got to experience it with everyone here in Pullman.
Okay, take us into the mind of Charlize Ledger-Walker when it comes to defense. I put you on the all-defense team. Whoever didn't, I don't know what they were thinking. But talk to me about what it means for you on the defensive side of the basketball, because we've seen you do it for 2 years.
Yeah, gotta love defense. I think, being a part of this team and playing in such a high IQ, as we've been talking about, I think, all night, just how high IQ our players are and our coaches are. Just learning how to make reads on defense, I think, has been the biggest thing, and improvement for me over my course of, being with them this whole time, is just them teaching me, and kind of everything we learn on that offensive end, and how, smart they are on that end can easily be kind of flipped on the other side with defense. They just, the things that they teach us to see, and how to read other people's offenses, and how to scout, and how to really lock in on defensive schemes has been a really big deal, and something that I've definitely learnt to do under them, and something that I definitely wasn't doing before I got here. But yeah, I've just learnt so much, and definitely probably comes from the offensive side more than even things we focus on that defensive end.
That aggressive mindset, was it genetics? Was it just something you had or is it something you learned over the years?
I think there's definitely always been a little bit of an aggressive, competitive nature to me, but I think me and Charlize joke about it all the time. I'm more of the aggressive one, and she's kind of the poised, read it, take it how it is, and I'm kind of all emotion, and you can see it all on my face. But yeah, definitely was some in there, and kind of came in with that kind of fiery attitude. But yeah, something that Coachy kind of puts off as well.
Do you have a special moment at Beasley Coliseum over the last couple of years?
That senior day is probably the biggest moment, yeah, for me personally. But yeah, a lot of great locker room celebrations, a lot of big upsets that we've had here in the last 2 years. So definitely a lot of big moments for me.
Now, what about Pullman? What did you know about Pullman? And was it Kamie that brought you here to Pullman? And then what's something that maybe has surprised you about Pullman that you're going to always take with you?
Yeah, it's a tough question. Yeah, I think definitely Coach E was kind of the person that introduced me to Pullman. I'm terrible at geography, and before I got here, I couldn't tell you what state was what,
Sure.
to be honest. But yeah, definitely Coach E kind of showed me the way to Pullman, and I've loved it here. I've loved probably the people are the biggest thing that I will remember, and kind of what shocked me is just how nice and welcoming and as cliche as it sounds, that community feel that everyone talks about here in Pullman. Yeah, definitely the people have been what's been it for me.
Well, once a Cougar, always a Cougar is a true saying, and we believe it. So it's been fun to watch you. I can't wait to watch you in this tournament. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. Go Cougs.
Absolutely. Again, Kristen Ledger-Walker, fifth-year senior. We're going to talk to her younger sister, Charlize, when we come back in just a couple of minutes. Again, it's the U.S. Bank Coaches Show from Zeppos, your NCAA tournament special. Here to Zeppos, again, NCAA tournament special. So happy to have you with us here. Again, the Washington State University Cougars off to a second consecutive NCAA tournament. And with us now, sophomore Charlize Ledger-Walker. And you don't know anything about not going to the NCAA tournament. You've been here 2 years, and we're going to 2 NCAA tournaments. That's got to be kind of special, knowing that you're going to the biggest stage in college basketball for 2 consecutive years.
Yeah, definitely. I'm, really lucky to have that opportunity. Obviously, not a lot of teams get to go, and 64 or 68 this year, teams are going, and that's just, I think, a really special opportunity. So I'm super grateful, one, just to be able to come here and play at Washington State, and then, get the chance to go and, perform on the biggest stage we can, and doing it with my sister as well. That's always special. So yeah, just super excited.
Yeah, I talked to Crystal about that, and I'm sure you were listening. But I mean, a chance to play with her these last 2 years at a Division I school, at a Pac-12 conference school, and to go to 2 straight NCAA tournament appearances with her, just I can't imagine. What does that feel like?
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking to come over to college, it was never even a factor for me. Just with our age difference, I never thought I'd have the chance to play with her. And so now that I do have the opportunity to, and, our fates kind of aligned, she transferred and, had the extra year with COVID, I'm just super grateful for the opportunity, her just being here with me, supporting me, introducing me to the world of college basketball. I mean, it can be really hard, especially, coming all the way across the world to play and to live. Something I don't think I would have been as prepared as well if she wasn't here. So just being able to play with her again is really cool, and I'm just so excited to go to the tournament and get to go to the dance again.
I talked to Kamie about this a little bit earlier on in the hour, the fact that you've got so many international players, and obviously from different spots, but is that also commonality to where you're here in Pullman and you are so far away from home that maybe you guys can kind of bond over that and just kind of have that collection of 10 international players on this roster? I mean, that's got to be such a wonderful but eclectic mix on this team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we all go through a lot of the same things, especially the main thing being away from our family, and, we can't just go home for a weekend or just call up our mum and tell her to come see us because we're homesick or anything like that. So I think we've really bonded over that aspect of things. And again, I also think that's just made us closer as a team because we spend more time with each other, during the weekends, during holiday breaks or, little vacations where everyone goes home. We just come together as a team and hang out more. So I think that's been really special for us. And also, I think another benefit is, after college, we're going to have lifelong friendships. I can go anywhere in the world and, I have somewhere to stay. And so, but it is great. Again, it's just another cool thing about being on this team.
Yeah, I could tell from the first game with you two the chemistry that you two had. And then I think as this season has worn along, and Crystal talked about it, having the 5 starters back, just the chemistry to where you guys were a year ago to where you are here wrapping up this season.
Yeah, definitely having our starting 5 come back, but also majority of our team. Yeah. I mean, it goes way further than just those first 5. I mean, at trainings, everybody's in, everybody's training, everybody's getting reps. And I think our culture from a year ago, you can see a significant difference. And talking to, seniors like Ula, Mick, Cher, all of them who have been here right from the start of, Coach's contract, talking to them, they can really obviously see the difference that the culture and the chemistry that we have has gone through. So, coming in as a freshman and having that foundation already laid out and the culture and the values and the morals that we want to have in our team, I think it's just, again, I'm grateful to come into something that was already so well laid out. I just think it's definitely a big part of the chemistry that we've built.
The other thing, too, is last year, I don't know, can you say that maybe you snuck up on some people? People didn't expect us to do very well in the conference, and this year, people knew what we had, yet we still finished tied for second in the Pac-12 conference. Did you guys welcome that challenge, and did you kind of feel that going in that, hey, okay, we're not going to sneak up on everybody, but we're still going to go out and prove what we are all about?
Yeah, we definitely had a chip on our shoulder again this year. I think last year, it's kind of expected. You're picked 12th in the pack. Nobody thinks you're going to do anything, and so it's kind of automatic, like you want to prove yourself. You don't want to finish last in the pack, and so that mindset, I think, was kind of already there. And then this year, it was more about not being, as Coachy likes to call it, fat and happy with, where we're at. And people obviously pick us higher in the pack, but again, they kind of think they have us figured out, as you were saying. So going in this year, I think it was more about focusing on us and really, tidying up the things that we can control. Because obviously every year all the teams are different. They have 5-star recruits coming in and, they're a year better. So, yeah, I think this year definitely played with a chip on our shoulder and knew that we had things, more things to prove.
Do you agree with Crystal? Are you the poised one? She's the aggressive one? Or is there a little bit of mix with both of you two?
I agree. I think I would be. She's an amazing competitor, and she definitely uses that to her advantage. And I think you can see it on the court. But at the same time, I think she's also really good at controlling her emotions when she needs to, and obviously that just comes with her experience and playing college for a number of years.
Last couple of things I got for you here. Second year in Pullman, you obviously had a couple of huge wins in Pullman last year, but that senior day, is that also, so far, we're expected to see so many more great games out of you at Buller Gymnasium, not Buller, excuse me, Beasley Coliseum. Was that your favorite day too, just watching her be able to enjoy senior day on such a big win?
Yeah, that was a big day for Crystal, and obviously as her sister, I'm just so happy and proud for her. And I also think the UCLA game in Beasley I think that was probably my best moment this year, is just seeing her and watching her be able to, make the winning shot on the buzzer. And I had all the emotions. I'm the type of player to try not to get too high or too low, but in that moment, everything went, and I was just so excited for her. So seeing her in those moments and being able to be with her on senior day was really special for me, and I just can't, again, I'm just so grateful that I'm here celebrating that with her.
Well, we're grateful that we've had a chance to watch you for the last couple of years. Charlize Ledger-Walker, ladies and gentlemen, all back-to-home performer. We look forward to seeing her coming up this weekend in Raleigh. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Go Cougs.
Again, we'll take a couple minutes, then we'll come back with head coach and wrap things up from Zeppo's NCAA Tournament Special here, again, U.S. Bank Coaches Show. Well, we welcome you back once again, U.S. Bank Coaches Show, NCAA Tournament Special from Zeppo's. Again, a huge amount of thanks to the folks here at Zeppo's for letting us be here tonight, all the people behind the scenes, of course, to the head coach, Kamie Ethridge, for joining us. You just talked to me a little bit off the air here. What two amazing young women we just had on for those last two segments. And
now everybody knows the brains behind this whole operation. They're not just the talent, they're the brains and the beauty and all of it. So just such great people, and again, it runs through our program, but they are just such great representatives of Washington State University, their families, our program, and couldn't be prouder of them.
Coach, we get set again, number 8 seed versus number 9 seed, Saturday morning. Again, 8:30 our time here on the Palouse Pacific. Make sure you tune in ESPN2. Again, we'll have it for you on the News Talk for the Palouse on AM 1150 for the radio coverage. And again, as we get ready to take on Kansas State, we'll talk about them in a little bit. Did it surprise you that it was Kansas State? I mean, I know that bracketologists out there have all these sorts of different things, and did you care? I mean, I know a lot of people in the media, and I know I'm somewhat a part of that, and go, and I know a bunch of them had you going back to Austin and maybe setting up a rematch if you got to the second round and play Texas, so obviously a place you know very well. This is another place that you know very well, 16 years as an associate head coach at Kansas State with so much success there, and Lori, a graduate of Kansas State, and such a fantastic playing career there. All of that is great, I think, for the media, but at the same time, it's about these players, right? And about the experiences that they're going to have this weekend. So I don't want to get too deep into the woods on this, but just your thoughts on Kansas State and the fact that you did coach there for 16 years.
18, but
18,
yeah.
Sorry.
You know, I just hate that the NCAA wants storylines that are like this and that are a distraction in any possible way. And thankfully, it's really not, and it won't be in my mind. We don't know anything about them. We're not going to be in Manhattan, which is a good thing. We're going to be in North Carolina, and we're going to be at Raleigh, and it's going to be just a really good team out of the Big 12 playing a really good team out of the pack. And I don't want anything taken away from what this team has accomplished. We deserve to be here. We've earned our way into this. We've got a great resume, and now, just like we talk about every single day we walk into the gym, let's go earn whatever we get today, and let's make sure we don't leave it to chance, and we play our best basketball. So it just happens to be K-State, and there is definitely water under the bridge for, you know, my staff and people that played there, but you know, that's what makes us. That's what life is. You take what you get, it should make you better. Successes and failures should just move you forward, and that's what has happened. It certainly got me into a head coaching position, so I'm thrilled to be here and obviously representing Washington State with these players that I've got.
I know we're only 24 hours from learning them. Can you give us an early scout on K-State and what to expect on Saturday?
You know, the 6'6" player, Lee, is an amazing player, had 61 points this year. Again, does some things that better than anyone in the country does. And so it is a hard matchup for us in that sense because we're not very tall. We have to find a way to not let her have 61 points. If she has that many, we're in trouble. So we've got to depend on our IQ, our ability to understand what they're trying to do. We got to take some chances and hope that they don't make a lot of threes. But you know, same as them, they're going to have to figure out how they want to play us, and they're going to have to take some chances. So I'm excited about this matchup. I'm excited about our team and how we're playing. I love the fact that we're having to play a zone team because I think we're very prepared for that, and I think that helps us in rounds to come in the tournament. So, again, I can't imagine being more prepared from the pack level and what we've experienced, and again, the hunger of our players, the expectation of our players, and I think this year coming in as a second-year team, having experience being there the year before, I think we're going to come in more calm and more prepared and really playing our best basketball.
Did have a question that I was supposed to ask you, so I'm going to ask you this now. When you get ready for your pregame chat and you're getting ready for your players, how do you know that what you're going to say is going to resonate, and what kind of goes into your motivation when you get ready for that pregame before you maybe bust through the doors and get ready to take the court, or do you have that?
I try, and it fails miserably often. You know, and you never know. I don't know, there was this TikTok that just talked about, like, you're talking to your team like this, and then after about 5 seconds of explaining everything, it shows what a kid is thinking, and the kid's going do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and like singing to themselves. So that's what I need to say. I need to say like 2 sentences, and then I need to go into a song like that, because that's really, at that point, they're done listening. I'm really excited about the fact that we have players that are so on point and they want to win, and you listen to them. Like those two guys right there that just spoke are so competitive. I mean, Crystal might be more fiery, but gosh, you need the ice of Charlize, and the combination of the two it just doesn't get any better from leadership standpoint. You need Ula and her IQ. You actually need Bella and her, her wild swings because of the things that she can go to. You need the combination of the team, but the calmness and the experience of those two players really that carry, and Ula too, carries so much weight on the court to just keep things where it needs to be, and that's what we depend on. And again, I think I put our fate in those kids' hands because they're so prepared, they're so invested, and I expect them to be their very best.
You go all the way back to November, non-conference schedule, where I thought we fared really well. Pac-12 conference, again, we had a couple of losses, but then that huge homestand, the way we rebounded after that Oregon loss, 3 straight Pac-12 wins, finished tied for second in the conference. Again, best conference finish in the history of Washington State, tied for second. Most conference wins in a season, most wins in the NCAA tournament level. Just, again, from mid-November to now where we sit here, middle of March, and now we get ready to go dancing, and we get it going on Saturday in Raleigh, North Carolina. Just, I guess, your final thoughts on the evening.
Well, you're in it, and you're just living and dying by every win or loss. And so sometimes you don't get to breathe, and you don't get to experience, people that are for you and invested in you. Everybody's at a distance, and you're just in your little hole. So what I love about this is just the experience of seeing fans and being a part of this, and like I said, getting to breathe and actually getting to celebrate things that you've accomplished and letting your team celebrate. And we try to celebrate those wins. We need to. But it feels so, it's so harsh when you lose, and it feels so like you let everybody down and you're not good enough. And it's just a hard balance that you have to keep. But again, highly competitive players that want to excel, that want to be great, that want to represent at the highest levels. And we, again, I feel so good about where we are, I feel so good about what we've accomplished this year. But I also really believe, we could go get a 20-win season, and we could, who knows what could happen when you get a team that's really, really confident and swinging for the fences. And that's what I would say to these guys. Let's go play freely. Let's not let nerves or anything get in our way. And we do this all the time. We've got great support. We've got my boss is here. I mean, the people behind us is so great, and so many. Really appreciate the people that are so for us and here, and we're going to go represent you well.
Tip of the hat, by the way, to Kyle Smith and the Washington State University men's basketball team back in the postseason. They'll be at the NIT.
First time ever both teams are in postseason? Chris, there you go. We got the thumbs up. Awesome. I'm so proud of him and happy for their program. And again, it feels like both programs are going in the right direction, and excited for that.
I guess that's what I was going with this. Basketball back on the Palouse. Obviously, we've got the program in great hands here with Kamie, Kyle Smith. Best of luck to them. Again, tomorrow night, show up at Beasley, 8 o'clock when they play host to Santa Clara. And again, we'll be in Raleigh on Saturday. Thank you so much for this, Coach.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Go Cougs!
Everybody. This is fun. Glad to have had you with us. NCAA Tournament Special from Zeppos. You've been listening. Thanks to the folks at U.S. Bank as well as we sign off. And again, remind you, 8:30 Saturday morning, the Cougars in Kansas State, 8 versus 9. And it's 8:30 as the Cougars go dancing for a second consecutive year in the NCAA Tournament. Thanks again, Coach.
Thanks, Steve.